Well, we saw the Slovenia celebrations a second ago, and this is why, because they have qualified as one of the third-place teams that will go through the most incredible achievement from this group of players. And you can see there what it means. They're celebrating with those fans in the stadium. It has ended England 0, Slovenia 0, which means England go through as group winners. Denmark and Serbia finished 0-0 between those two as well, which means Denmark go through as second. But what an incredible achievement. It is confirmed, Bhaichung, that Slovenia have got through to the knockouts of a major tournament. What an incredible achievement for that bunch of players.
Yes, I think, and they deserve to as well. If you look at all the three matches, they've not lost a single match. They've played against some of the best teams like England and Denmark. Despite that as well, I think the performance has been wonderful. Today, again, we saw how Slovenia were very organized defensively, kept that discipline, and give very little opportunity and chances for England strikers to, open up and take shots on the target.
How impressed have you been with Slovenia across this tournament, David?
They've been okay.
Did you expect them to get through this group, though?
Well, given the third place permutations, there was always going to be a chance. I mean, as you say, the record going into the tournament has been very good. I think only 2 defeats in the last couple of seasons. So it's in that sense, they were going to be better than Serbia. It's just whether or not they could get enough points, and if 3 points is enough, then they've done enough. But they haven't won any games either, so it's kind of, they're in a good position. No one's going to really want to play a team that doesn't get beat, if you know what I mean. You'd rather a team that wins and loses, gives you a chance. But well done to Slovenia. Well,
Portugal didn't win a game in 2016, and they went on to win it. So Slovenia, no, I'm just joking. I think that's a little step too far. We spoke, Bhaichung, at half-time about Slovenia's defence. And sometimes it's difficult to carry it on the whole way through the game, but the whole way through the game, they were pretty much perfect at the back, weren't they?
Definitely, again, you're not just looking at this game, other two matches as well, they've been very organised defensively. And if you look at this one as well, I think it's a great run, but the way they've kept the line and kept that discipline in the defence has been fantastic. This is obviously a yellow card, which I think could have been very, very dangerous if the foul had not happened. Kane would have gone through, but I think it was a great foul for Slovenia to really take that for the team.
Yeah, absolutely. They kept Harry Kane pretty quiet most games, which some teams do struggle to do. Now, England fans especially have been crying out for substitutions from Gareth Southgate, and David, he did one of them. He brought on Cole Palmer, the player that a lot of England fans have wanted to see. What did you make of his little cameo? I think he was on for about 20 minutes. He had a chance at the end, didn't he, which we might have seen go in the back of the net if he was playing in Chelsea blue.
Yeah, he looked like he wanted to make a difference. I mean, it's interesting. This is almost like a mirror image of what we saw yesterday with Italy.
Yeah, the other side.
The ball curls in the top corner instead of going for the bottom corner. I mean, I suppose that's the choices you make. And with Oblak and the defender running across him, he might have been better going for the far post. But again, this is an opportunity for Cole just to say to Gareth, when we get to the knockouts, I'm your man if I'm needed, ready to play. As I say, there was bits where a little bit of skill trying to get out of tight pockets, which I would have liked to have seen a little bit earlier in the middle from either Cole Palmer or other players. But in the end, top of the group, that's all you can ask for.
Exactly. England are top of the group. Now, we mentioned, obviously, Phil Foden being heavily involved. The thing is with this England performance was that Jan Oblak wasn't really tested. Now, Bhaichung, showing this chance from Declan Rice, I mean, it was sort of a half chance that he's just hit wide, but England didn't have that many clear-cut chances tonight, did they?
I don't think so, because if you look at the second half, the last shot, this was, again, it was way off the target, but the only best chance was just before this, what we saw of Palmer, which was a very, very good opportunity. And that was the only, I think, clear-cut open in the second half which we saw. I still feel that going front, I think England needs to be more adventurous, take more risk going up front. And though I think they play with 4-2-3-1 formation, they can have Bellingham play along. I think they can rise there. Then I think it gives more opportunity for players to go up front. Otherwise, I think being a bit negative, staying with two defensive midfield, I think for a team like England, I think they have got great attacking players and they need to take advantage of that.
David, just want a word to you on Jude Bellingham, because we've spoken about him being one of the best players in the world. At the back end of last season, he looked really tired for Real Madrid in the Champions League semi-finals and the finals. He's obviously so young, playing so much football. Did you think he looked tired again tonight?
I don't think he looked tired. I think, and I'm going back to the half-time, there were a lot of players making just short passes slightly wrong, a couple of mistakes from players. I mean, everyone makes some kind of mistake in the game at points, but I just think that first half performance in particular, England were laying balls, I was saying to Bhaichung watching the game, just behind players instead of in front. I think with Jude Bellingham again, there wasn't really the opportunities to make all the creativity. Even Cole Palmer's creativity was done out wide. I also think as well, which was interesting, Phil Foden went in the middle, Bellingham went out wide, very wide. And then Phil Foden went out very wide and Bellingham went in the middle. I'd like to see them a little bit tighter. And then they can play off each other. But in the end, as again, this game was always going to be dictated to by the group. And I think when you're hearing a 0-0 in the other group, Slovenia is saying, hang on a minute, let's not risk this. England is saying, well, we've already won the group and we're not going to lose it if you're not going to try and beat us. So, although Denmark scoring late would have made things a bit interesting.
I feel England, one or two changes can completely change the team. You know, even on the left-hand side, Tripper, I don't think is a genuine left-side player. So might bring in Luke Shaw there, who could combine more with Foden at the left-hand side, and bring in Bellingham with Declan Rice. I think this one or two changes would completely change the team, the way they play, I feel.
He did make the subs, didn't he? He bought on Kobbie Mainoo, he bought on Cole Palmer, he bought on Anthony Gordon. So Gareth Southgate is making the subs that England fans want to see. They want to see those players play.
Yeah, and as I say, I mean, there's part, even in my 4-1 prediction, you know, it was more Croatia-based than it was what I was expecting from England. He's playing these players because they will feature later on in the tournament. We talk about Slovenia and their defence and how difficult they are to beat, but teams have scored against them. England have conceded 1 goal. When you're playing against teams that don't concede, it means that you're going to have to work extra hard to try and score. If you're winning 5-4, at least you know you've got chances of scoring, again, or playing teams that concede goals. So I think England's position, they didn't need to win. Yeah. They've had a clean sheet, 2 out of 3. That is good going into knockout stages.
And also the positive side of today's match for England is keeping a clean sheet, which is very, very important.
Yeah, and it is, because I've gone Jordan Pickford for the Golden Glove as well. So hopefully England keep more clean sheets. Now, Harry Kane cut a slightly frustrated figure, but we can head over to Germany and hear from the England captain now.
The good news, England topped the group. It was hard tonight, but you finished in terms of the group where you wanted to.
Yeah, no, that was the aim before the start of the tournament. Come top in the group and control our own destiny, and that's what we've done. You know, tonight was a tough game. I thought we played a lot better than the other 2 games. A lot more energy, a lot more, better on the ball. We just couldn't find that final pass, that final finish. But look, it's tough games. You know, all these games are going to be difficult. Now we recover well. We enjoy that we're top of the group, and then we look forward to the next one.
What was missing in terms of the final third?
Yeah, just that final bit of quality, that final pass, final finish, or the cross. You know, we just don't quite have it there today. But you know, we created some half chances, and we had one towards the end there that we could have maybe done better. But yeah, overall they defended well, and they made it hard for us.
Did we see glimpses of what might be possible? Palmer late on, very late on. Gordon coming in and influencing things.
I think yeah, look, the boys who come on done really well. They kept the energy high, brought a different type of dimension to the game, and that's what we need. We need all the players chipping in whenever they get minutes. And that's what they've done so far.
You'll agree, I think it's going to have to be a lot better in the knockout phase. How close do you think the team are to clicking?
Yeah, I think, look, these games are tough. These games are really, really tough. And, you know, we've been here before. We've been into the knockouts, and we've stepped it up in the knockouts when we've got there in the past tournaments. So hopefully we could do the same. But whoever we get in the next round now, it's going to be another difficult game. It might take extra time. It might take penalties. That's the reality of this tournament. It's going to be a difficult challenge ahead. But, you know, we have more than enough ability in this team to keep pushing. And, yeah, we just look forward to the next round now.
Thanks, Harry.
Cheers, thank you.
That was England captain Harry Kane there as England drew 0-0 with Slovenia, who have qualified. Bhaichung, he was quite frustrated, Harry Kane. We haven't seen the best of him in these 3 group stage matches, have we?
No, we've not. Again, I don't blame him at all, because I think the kind of formation, the kind of player selection Gareth Southgate has been doing, I think it's a bit negative in terms of, I think the approach itself has been to defend, not to concede. And I think that's been one of the major setbacks for them. Otherwise, I think we know Harry Kane can score goals. He's proven that in English Premier League. He's gone to German League and been the highest goal scorer. So I think he needs that kind of final pass, which he was speaking about, is missing big time in England team right now.
He is dropping deep, isn't he, David? But we've seen him do that before for England and still score goals and still create, and it still worked.
Yeah, he did in the first half, not so much, as I say that, he picks up deep here. Well, I'd say wide, because he put a cross in later on in the game as well from a wide position. In all this conversation about England, I think we do a little bit of disservice to the opposition. If you're playing up against one of the favourites, then the chances are you're going to try and play your best. And I think we've seen 3 teams up their game to a level where they've had to frustrate England. Yeah. And you can see the celebrations granted for qualification for Slovenia there, because they didn't probably expect to get away with a draw against England. So they've done so well. Like Harry Kane, as he said, when it comes in a tournament, knockout football, it is a different game, completely different game. And I think that we'll go to the first knockout a lot more confident than people anticipate at the moment. And this man has still got a lot to do, or a lot to play for in this competition.
Yeah, like we say, Harry Kane is one of the best goal scorers in world football, and I'm sure we will see the best of him as England get through this tournament. Right, it's time for our change maker of the match, and it's gone to England's Phil Foden.
Phil Foden gallivanting forwards, and Kane just caught in his heels, because it didn't seem like the worst ball from Phil Foden.
Maybe slightly overhit. Difficult one for Harry Kane to get onto. He was trying to hold his line, because Slovenia were holding theirs. Tried to hold his run.
29 metres is what he's trying to bridge if he is going to have a go at goal. It's Foden instead, and it forces the save out of Oblak.
Catches it well enough. I think the fact that it's so far out, though, it just gives Oblak that time to get across.
I mean, to tell you the truth, there wasn't that many options for change maker of the match in that England versus Slovenia game. But, Bhaichung, out of all the England players that were on the pitch, if England looked like they were going to create something, it did look like it was going to come through Phil Foden.
Yes, I think, throughout the match, he looked very busy. He wanted the ball. Every time he got the ball, he wanted something different, take on the defenders, play 1-2, and make those runs. And he looked very positive from the time, the England got into it. So overall, if anybody would have scored today, I think it looked like Phil Foden.
Yeah, absolutely right. Obviously.
Thoughts about Manchester United and Everton? The erstwhile great Manchester United are still seesawing. A draw with Spurs on the 14th of January saw them win 5 straight games, albeit most of them just barely. Then came the awful loss to Fulham on the 24th of February, in which they played a lacklustre game. Then came Sunday's derby, where they lose 1-3 to the current league champions Manchester City, a game where they go a goal ahead, defend brilliantly for 50 minutes, eventually capitulating to the obviously better class of their rival. Regarding the manager Erik ten Hag, there are still many complaints from pundits left and right. The lack of clear sense of direction or style of play, lack or poor quality of man management, and constant poor recruitment of players. Since the 25% takeover of Man United by Jim Ratcliffe, it was hoped that Man United will progress to a more successful direction under his watch. Some pundits even think that Ten Hag might even be replaced come next season. Yet the stats show that he did not do too badly. He managed 61 wins in all competitions in his first 100 games, which actually is better record than either Mikel Arteta with 54 and Jurgen Klopp with 50.
Thoughts on Arsenal and Tottenham? If not for that 1-week blip where they lost to Aston Villa and bow out of the Champions League, Arsenal have been by far the most impressive team this season. They have the best defensive record. They blow teams away by huge margin of goals, which leave them with the top goal difference, worth a point at least. Even after that week of disappointment, they are now pretty much faultless. It is not their choice, however. They have to be, because reigning champions Manchester City have games in hand, which if they win all the remaining games, there is nothing Arsenal can do about it. They will be crowned champions for the 4th consecutive time. But the way Arsenal played this season, it will be a shame if they did not win the Premier League.